It always started with that shrill, ugly sound. The fire alarm? Everyone hated it. The sudden screech, the scramble for order, the groan of getting up mid-class and pretending to care where the exits were. But not me, because for some reason, during every fire drill, she always ended up beside me. Her name was Claire. Not the popular kind of Claire. Not the one with loud friends and louder perfume. No, she was the Claire who sat in the back row of chemistry, always sketching in the margins of her lab sheets. The kind who read books no one else heard of, with covers faded like they'd traveled the world. We'd never spoken in class. But during drills, when the teacher herded everyone to the soccer field, and the sun made us all squint and complain, she'd find me and say something. Once it was, "Do you ever think birds get annoyed by fire alarms too?" Another time, if the world actually ended, I'd probably just keep drawing until the last second. And every time I laughed. Not because the lines were hilarious, but because she said them. Like she chose me, for whatever reason, to hear her thoughts during the in-between moments of school life. It became a thing. Every fire drill, I'd wait. Not obviously, just close to where I guessed she might stand. And without fail, she'd show up. Sometimes she'd bring a weird snack. Once she handed me a candy shaped like a fish and said, "For your survival kit." I kept it, never ate it. I started looking forward to alarms. Isn't that ridiculous? Waiting for the chaos, just to have 2 minutes with a girl who never said hi in the hallway. But there was something beautiful about how unforced it was. She didn't owe me conversation. I didn't ask for it. But still, there it was. Like rain in the middle of math class. She never sat with anyone at lunch. And I didn't have the guts to sit with her. But during drills, when the school paused, she opened a window into her world. One sentence at a time, and I kept wondering, would she still talk to me? If the fire alarm never rang again? The next fire drill never came. It felt strange, like waiting for a favorite song on the radio, but it never plays. I found myself glancing at the ceiling, in every class, listening for that familiar shriek, but nothing. Just the buzz of fluorescence and the ticking clock that never ticked fast enough. And still, Claire sat in the back of chemistry, drawing vines around molecules, completely still. Like her world had a different time zone. I started to miss her voice, not even her presence. Just the sound of her choosing one odd sentence to throw at me like a pebble, breaking the surface of a quiet lake. And so, on a random Thursday, right after the bell rang for lunch, I stood by the lockers near the south stairwell, where she always passed. She appeared, as always, earbuds in, sketchbook hugged to her chest, her boots tapping softly like background music. As she walked by, I panicked. Every word I'd planned vanished like smoke. But I turned and said it anyway. "Hey, if the world ended today, would you still draw fish candy?" She paused. Took out one earbud. Blink. Blink. A smile flickered, slow and warm, like sun coming through blinds. "You remembered that?" she asked. "Still have it. Top drawer. Might be expired." Claire looked at me, really looked at me, as if measuring whether this was real, or if she'd accidentally tripped into another fire drill without the noise. Then she said, "You broke the rule." I blinked. "What rule?" "We only talk when alarms go off." I smiled. Maybe I set off a different kind today. She laughed, softly, but enough to send a wave through my ribs. "Well," she said, adjusting her grip on the sketchbook, "if you're gonna break it, want to eat lunch on the steps?" Not very apocalyptic, but the view's okay. I nodded, heart racing like I'd outrun the evacuation bell. And as we sat outside, sandwiches between us, silence stretching but never awkward, I realized something. I didn't need alarms to talk to her anymore. She didn't need the chaos to open up. All we needed was this. A normal day. Without drills. Without fire. But somehow, still enough heat to feel like something had begun. We didn't sit together every day after that. There was no dramatic shift, no sudden declaration that we were now something. But sometimes when the air felt too still, or the sun fell just right, we found each other. On the stairs behind the gym, on the rooftop when no one was looking, under the library window, sharing crackers and secrets in equal measure. Claire was still Claire. She still never raised her hand in class. Still wore sleeves too long for her arms. Still sketched things no one else noticed. A pigeon with a crown, a vending machine with teeth, a girl riding a wave of stars. But now, she showed them to me. I started carrying an extra pen in case she forgot hers. I started walking a little slower past the art room. I stopped waiting for alarms to give me permission. One day I asked, "Why did you only talk to me during fire drills?" She didn't answer right away. She tugged on her sleeve, stared up at the gray sky, then said, "Because during drills, no one's pretending. Everyone's off script. You look around and realize who you'd stand next to if everything fell apart." Then she looked at me. "And I always ended up next to you." I don't think I spoke for a full 10 seconds. But she didn't need words. Not really. That day I walked her home. It wasn't far, just 4 blocks of cracked sidewalks and streetlights flickering awake. We didn't hold hands. We didn't need to. When we got to her gate, she paused and pulled something from her bag. A bookmark, drawn in pen, edges smudged. On it, a sketch of the two of us under a fire exit sign, smiling, and a single word beneath it, "Stayed." She handed it to me, then turned and walked inside. I stared at it for a long time, and finally realized, sometimes the world doesn't need to catch fire for you to find someone worth saving. We don't talk just during fire drills anymore. We talk when it rains, when it's too quiet, when we're both a little lost, and that's more than enough.